you have a company which might even be a smaller company, which is a holding company of any other company or a subsidiary of any other company. Okay, then without the limitation of what is your paid up capital or what is your revenue, you have to compulsorily get this done. And of course, if you are a company who has a paid up capital more than 4 crores, then you have to mandatorily comply with this rule. And if you are a company whose revenue is about 40 crores, then again mandatorily you have to comply with these rules. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new show, The Professional on Call Who Knows It All. And today we have CS Ganesh Shanay with us, who is going to be talking about a very crucial topic, which is dematerialization of company shares. You might be knowing that we all have a demat account and we all hold shares in dematerialized formats. But there are certain smaller companies who are maybe unlisted, who definitely are unlisted, who are holding shares in materialistic form and not in demat form. Why did I tell smaller companies and unlisted companies? Because as soon as you list, anyways, you have to go into the demat format. So where smaller companies who are unlisted are holding their shares in a non-dematerialized format, then this video becomes very important to you on how to get your company's shares dematerialized from a professional. What is the timeline for it? Which are the companies who have to mandatorily dematerialize their shares? And what will happen if you fail to dematerialize your shares? So let us welcome CS Ganesh Shanay, who is a company secretary at Bangalore and takes care of secretarial compliances of all private and public limited companies and LLPs. Welcome to the show, Ganesh. What is dematerialization?
Right. So I think, before this topic came up, earlier days people used to know about opening their demat account with a stockbroker, right? So now the Companies Act, has made it very compulsory for companies to convert their shares from physical to demat. So let's try to understand what is dematerialization. Okay, dematerialization is a process of converting physical shares into digital form. It's very simple. Yeah, physical to digital. So all the shares will be in digital form or electronic form. Why they have done this? They have done this to simplify the process of buying, or selling, or even transferring, or even holding of those shares. So that's the reason the Companies Act have made changes in their rule, especially Rule 9B of Prospectus and Amendment Rule 2023. They brought in this topic. Okay, and what are the benefit of this dematerialization? This is like very easy to hold your shares. It will be in demat form, in electronic form, and there is no stamp duty on transfer of shares. So you don't have to pay any stamp duty on the transfer of shares. And it's easily transferable. Even single share can also be transferred from one shareholder to another shareholder. And there is no risk of, losing your share certificate or,
there is a lot of transparency as well.
Transparency, no fake share certificates.
Everything.
Correct. So there are a lot of benefits when your shares are in demat forms. So this is the basic of, dematerialization.
So basically, it is being tried to make all the corporates shares much more easier to hold, to transfer, and the security of not having to lose the share certificates, etc. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because especially for bigger companies, I feel even if we lose the share certificate, we can somehow try to do something. But when they are unlisted companies, smaller companies, it might become very difficult, right?
Right. See, there are a lot of companies with 20-year-old or 15-year-old companies holding those share certificates for such a long time in a physical form is so difficult. You never know where you have kept those share certificates. Maybe those share certificate, whatever it's written, may not be even visible now.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
so it's a very good decision by the Companies Act, to bring such changes in the act and make the companies be aware about digital share certificates or dematerialization.
So, which are those companies for which this rule becomes applicable and they have to mandatorily go for a dematerialization, Ganesh?
Yes. Well, see, the dematerialization is mandatory for all private companies and public companies, except these small companies or government companies. What is this small company? Under Section 285 of the Companies Act, small companies are those companies having their paid up capital less than 4 crore
Hmm.
and turnover less than 40 crores.
Okay.
Okay. If their capital is below 4 crore or their turnover is below 40 crore, they are small companies, and for those companies, dematerialization is not applicable. Okay. So other than small companies, it is applicable. But if the company is a subsidiary company or if the company is a holding company,
Hmm.
even if it is a subsidiary company of another company or a company is a holding company having one more subsidiary, this small company definition is not applicable. Even if their capital is 1000 rupees or 10,000 rupees, they have to go for dematerialization.
Okay, so when you mentioned about 4 crore of paid up capital and 40 crore of turnover, say a company has 5 crore of paid up capital, but the turnover is just 25 crores. Will that company have to go for a dematerialization?
They have to go for one. If even one,
One criteria
class
is
is up,
fulfilled.
criteria is applicable, they have to go for dematerialization. It becomes
Okay.
it becomes other than small company, not a small company.
Right. So either if a company has paid up capital more than 4 crores or turnover more than 40 crores,
Correct.
or a company has even 10,000 paid up capital and no revenue, still they are either a holding company or a subsidiary company in relation to any other company, then
Correct.
all these types of companies have to go for dematerialization, correct?
Absolutely. Correct.
Superb, superb. So, what is the process of this dematerialization basically?
See, I'm very sure that the companies will not be aware of whom to contact, for this to understand the process. There are a lot of professionals may not be aware of converting the physical shares into dematerialization. They may not be aware of it. There is a lengthy process for it. So what is a better, the suggestion for a company is to approach a professional who is aware of this process, because you
Right,
can't skip any step in the process. It has to take,
correct,
it has to go in a proper process only. So what they have to do is they have to first approach a professional who can, coordinate with depository, they can coordinate
right,
with RTA, they can coordinate with share broker,
right.
and even with the shareholders and company.
Oh, right. So,
Okay.
actually, if someone goes to do it by themselves, they might mess it up more.
Absolutely, because they will not know whom to contact first.
Correct.
Okay, here in this process, depository comes first. There are two
Mhm.
depositories, NSDL and CDSL.
Yes.
They can go through any depository, either NSDL or CDSL. Okay, then they have to approach an RTA as well. Depository and RTA, they work hand in hand. They have to be in touch together.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, with the help of depository, you will have to get your ISIN number. It's a 12-digit number. It's a alphanumeric number, 12-digit ISIN number,
Got it.
which the company has to get it. And how do they
Oh,
get it? They have to get it through a depository.
okay, okay. So,
Yeah.
here, if they hand over this process to a professional, who basically should be a company secretary who should be having a knowledge of dematerialization as well.
Correct. Yeah. Not necessarily company secretary, but even any
Oh,
professional who is aware of this process, who
okay,
knows about depository, RTA, stock broker.
okay,
No,
okay. if this is handed over to some any professional, what is the timeline that this entire process of going from physical to digital will take?
See, it takes, I can't say, a specific time period for this. It may, get completed in 1 month, or it may take even 2 months or 3 months. It depends, because
Okay.
in each step there are different criteria. For example, when you appoint a depository, you will have to work on a lot of documentation to get your ISIN. So getting an ISIN will only take you some time. If the shareholders are not available to sign your documents, if there are no
Mm,
papers available, if
correct.
you're not able to give it to the depository in time, it will take some time, right? So
Right.
after that, again, all the shareholders need to have their demat account. If they don't have a demat account, we have to open a demat account for them. There may be some foreign shareholders who may not even have a PAN number. I mean,
Correct.
it's not compulsory for them to have a PAN number, but in case if they want to convert their shares into demat, even they have to get a PAN.
Right.
So
Right.
it's mandatory for them to have a PAN. So that process will take time. It is not easy.
Correct.
So,
Correct. You're right.
and then after having a PAN, again his shares need to be, we have to open an account for him, demat account for him. And after that, they have to submit a demat request form to the share broker, stockbroker. And that stockbroker will submit those shares, DRF form, to the RTA.
Oh wow.
So there is
Okay.
a big lengthy process for it, which have to be handled very carefully.
Right.
So
So
I cannot say it will happen in 1 month or 2 months. It again depends on the,
on the
uh, you know,
complexity of the case.
correct. If the number of shareholders are more and they don't have a demat account, we may have to do it for each and every individual shareholder.
Right.
If they don't
Right.
have a PAN, we may have to obtain PAN. So
You're
yeah,
right.
there's a
You're
lot of
right.
documentation involved.
So, given all this, even, you, as you said, if the case is very simple and very less number of shareholders and they already have a demat account, then it becomes a very,
Very,
straight line case and
yeah,
might take a month, or else it might go to 2, 3 months.
correct.
So, now what is the deadline for, the companies to comply with this rule of dematerializing their shares?
See, the due date for this is 30th September 2024. So
Okay.
before 30th September 2024, the companies have to convert their shares into demat.
Oh,
They have to do it. So I think we have a very limited time period now. Maybe in 2, 3 months time we have, and the companies have to take a call on converting their shares. Otherwise, they have to bear some penal action or fees they have to pay to the government as a penalty.
oh, and what is this penalty?
The 10,000 rupees for a company. Yeah, it's a fixed 10,000 rupees, and then plus 1,000 rupees per day.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
and
So,
each officer in default will also have to pay 10,000 rupees
oh
as a
wow.
penalty. Yeah, and then the maximum limit is 50,000 for an officer, and for a company, maximum limit is 2 lakh rupees.
Oh my God. So it can go up to
Up to
each
two,
officer means who is that each officer in the
the
sense each
director,
shareholder?
yeah, the shareholders, sorry, shareholders,
The
each shareholder,
shareholder.
right?
So the more the shareholders, each shareholder will be exposed to 50,000
Correct,
plus
maximum.
each company maximum. Plus each
Yes,
company will pay from, I mean, 10,000 plus 1,000 per day to a maximum limit of 2 lakhs.
correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. Whom should the companies now approach, to get this process done?
Yeah, if people are watching your video, they can approach me to get
Definitely.
their dematerialization done. Or they can look for a professional who is an expert in dematerialization. They can approach whoever, they are convenient or easily accessible. So it will help them to convert their shares very quickly, because it needs a very cautious, uh,
Yes. Steps,
effort,
right?
steps.
Actually,
Yes,
because see, guys, what he's trying to say is that you may know any CA or CS, but someone who knows the Companies Act rules and regulations as well as knows everything in relation to depositories and stockbroking. It should be such kind of a person who has these, expertise in both these. So I think Ganesh
Correct.
has the expertise in both that. And as he mentioned, if you are one of those persons who needs to get this dematerialization done, then you can of course get in touch with me and I will connect you to Ganesh very promptly. And this becomes more important, I think, Ganesh, because as you mentioned, it takes 2 to 3 months and the deadline is September 30th. So I think,
Correct.
if anyone is watching this video, then they need to kind of, get this process done really fast now. At least start the process very soon, right?
Correct. See, arranging all the documents at one shot is difficult. That's the reason it takes time. Otherwise, the process is not so difficult. Once
Right.
when a person is aware of the process, it's not difficult for him to do that dematerialization. But the document should be handy. It should be available.
Right.
You should be ready with those documents to provide it to a DP or a RTA or a stockbroker. So coordinating with these four, five officials or a department, it's a very tedious job. Yeah, that's why you need an expert.
Yes.
So I would suggest these anyone who is watching this video, if they have a company, if they feel that, if they know that their dematerialization applicable for them, please consult a professional who can do this process for you. Otherwise, you may end up paying a lot of penalties to the government.
And then I think if they create another mess, it will be another process to first clear up the mess and then do
Correct.
the correct work.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Ganesh, for being with us and sharing this crucial information with our audience. Of course, if anyone in the audience requires this service from Ganesh, please get in contact with us through our email ID and we will promptly connect you to Ganesh. That is CS Ganesh Shane. Thank you, Ganesh, for being on our show.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pratiksha.